Well, it's still quite cold and wet in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome to your daily dose of sunshine, regardless of whether the weather is saying at your place. Welcome to Sunrise Daily. I'm Maope Ogun Yusuf.
A good student. You learned that there is no rationing of the sun, irrespective of what. It's 25 degrees here in Lagos. I'm Mayo Makide. Good morning and welcome. Today is August 27, 2025. And Makwe, guess what today reminds me of? I think it's exactly 40 years ago that August 27, 1985, the Babangida government took over power in this country. And I remember because it's also my daughter's birthday. So yeah, welcome to the program.
Happy birthday to your daughter. I do not think that Nigerians really want to remember that regime of coups and counter coups. But hey, it's a part of our history, and there's very little that we can do about it. We just learn from history. And then there'll be questions as to what other things we're learning from. Yesterday, we saw a derailment on the Abuja-Kaduna line. There'll be questions because if you look at how some of the papers have captioned it here, particularly that of Daily Trust, you take a look at what Daily Trust, it says, Abuja-Kaduna train derails again. So it has happened before, and it has happened or is happening again. Thankfully, no lives were lost, but of course, a derailment of this magnitude, people certainly will be injured. I mean, you're seeing coaches right on their side there. And not just that the train derailed, I mean, the train got off the tracks. Even the tracks themselves derailed as well. So there'll be questions as to what exactly happened. We listened to Mr. Kayode Okwefa on a sister program, Morning Brief, he was here just a few, it's up to an hour now ago, you know, talking about how he takes full responsibility for this particular incident. The NSIB, which is now an independent safety investigation bureau, will be taking a look at this particular incident and also getting back to Nigerians as to what could have caused it. But I think the only thing we're going to take any comfort away from this is that at least when this incident occurred, we saw the response of first responders, particularly that around security. So at least people were reassured that, you know, nothing untoward was happening. Because when this kind of thing occurs, you know, your mind is going to what could have caused it. Is it just safety? Was there sabotage? You know, was there, you know, were there bad people around who had made sure that something like this happened? But it does appear that there is a system in place right now which sees the deployment of particularly security agencies. When you use first responders, you're also talking about people who, you know, will come and make sure that people who are injured or, you know, if there are any casualties, so to speak, they're taken care of. But in this instance, the critical set of first responders we saw at the scene of this incident were security operatives, whom we understand arrived in about 5 minutes, and then we saw helicopters hovering, etc., etc. So if there's anything to take away from that is that, okay, we've learned something from the security incident that happened. But then there are questions as to why this derailment is happening so soon after the first one we experienced along this route. And it's particularly troubling because for a number of people, the train is still generally novel. It's still relatively new in our society. Whilst people are getting used to it on certain routes, there's so many more Nigerians that are yet to experience this particular train. And so people still use it, you know, as a touristic opportunity. At least I remember I did that very recently. So it is very worrisome to see that this sort of incident is still something that is still a big and present danger in our society. Ayo.
I think it's very, very troubling. And, well, we are thankful for the response of the NRC, particularly the MD and CEO, and the explanations that he has given. He talked about the fact that it's a derailment that happened at a kind of junction along the track, and that is understandable. But it also raises questions not just of the investments, but of reliability, safety, and sustainability in general. Because now, this is the level that we are right now, Maokwe. And already, some people are already touting the idea of bullet trains. Now, this is not a bullet train, and this is the experience that we're having. And we're already eyeing the other, innovation happening in different parts of the world. So how are we going to ensure that we don't have this kind of accidents? They're so deadly. Well, thankfully no one died, but at least to the best of the information that is available. So if this is what we are experiencing now, what's to say that we're not going to have this kind of experience subsequently? Another angle to look at in this matter, Malkwe, is that of sustainability. I'm not sure how far we have gone in paying back, the resources for this. And it will always raise the question of whether or not these investments are safe and secure for people. So it's quite a lot of issues to unpack in this matter. We, as the MD CEO, Dr. Okwefa, has said, we wait for the report of the NSIB in ensuring that we get the best out of this at the end of the day. And this is the famous Abuja-Kaduna Road. Initially, the problem was insecurity. And now the whole track is, lined with security operatives, according to, Dr. Okwefa earlier talking to us about it. And now this is what we have, the rail itself derailing. I'm waiting for the report of what happened here, because Jeffrey, my colleague, asked the question whether or not there was any kind of sabotage. Of course, Dr. Okwefa says it's too early to tell, but I'm waiting to see whether or not there is such a thing. Another thing is a similar thing that's also happened, Malkwe, is because one of the things that I've always considered is how come we don't, as a people, co-own these projects, these initiatives? Perhaps because we have not, the ownership has not been communicated to us. I don't know, but I guess we wait. Because on the same program earlier this morning, we heard the story of a tragic accident that occurred in the early hours of Saturday, where someone lost her life when a vehicle plunged into the third mainland bridge. And the reverberating story is that while the authorities were able to pull the body out of the lagoon, there were stories around, some of officials asking for money from the families and all of that. And I was just thrown off, Mark, because I was wondering, wait a minute, where is our humanity? Because at the end of the day, it is all about us. It is all about us. Where is our humanity? We're grateful that no lives have been lost in the train wreck, the train accident, but the life that has been lost in the lagoon issue is something of concern. There are those who have this belief that the way people die all over the place is very, very troubling. Most certainly. I go back to the conversation I had on Saturday, where people are now talking more about living standards. Do we have any? Too many questions to ask about these issues, Mark, and I'm just hoping that at the end of the day, we can resolve these issues. But all of these things, they revolve around policies, which are usually a product of government officials elected through political parties. We're talking about one of them this morning in our next conversation.
Power oil light. Light enough for movement. Real enough for taste. Power oil, my choice for my family. They always come back for seconds. I know why. Power oil, my choice for my family.
Extensive deliberations approved the report of the National Convention Zoning Committee, which recommended as follows. A. That all PDP national office positions currently in the northern region of the country remain in the northern region. B. That all PDP national office positions currently in the southern region of the country remain in the southern region. C. That the position of the national chairman haven't been retained in the northern region of the country. The presidential candidate of the party for the 2027 general election is hereby zoned to the southern region. So, of acting national chairman, Ambassador Ilya Umar Damagu, in stabilizing the party, NEC hereby ratifies and confirms the appointment of Ambassador Ilya Umar Damagu as the substantive national chairman of the party, with effect from today, 25th August 2025, until the National Convention on the 15th and 16th of November 2025 at Ibadan, Oyo State Capital.
Well, indeed, that's what we're switching our gears to now, from safety to politics. And it does appear what the PDP has done, as announced by Mr. Debo Oluwagba after the 102nd National Executive Council meeting, National Executive Committee meeting of the PDP. There are questions as to whether that has now gone down well with all members of the People's Democratic Party. And that's what we're talking about this morning. We're joined here now by Mr. Larry Olayinka, who's seated to my far right. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. He is the Senior Special Advisor. Is that Senior
Assistant?
Assistant, beg your pardon, because I see SSA here. Public Communications to the FCT Minister. And we also have in our studios this morning Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi, who is the stakeholder in the People's Democratic Party. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good seeing you again.
Fantastic. So here we are. This is the announcement that the PDP greeted us with on Monday, the zoning of its presidential ticket and also the affirmation of all political party posts, all office holders currently holding positions within the party. As a result of that, we saw the chairman, the acting chairman of the party, confirmed as the national chairman of the party till the next convention, which should hold in November. Mr. Larry Olayinka, you released a statement on the back of that saying that the minister and perhaps the G5 have now been vindicated on their stance. But then there are questions as to, now that they have been vindicated, let me be more specific. Now that the minister has been vindicated, given the fact that he has openly declared his support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how is that going to play out with any support that he's supposed to be given the national candidate or the presidential candidate of his party, should such a process continue to go through for the 2027 elections?
Well, in that statement, you did not also go further to also mention that he said, he asked a question, is it not too late? He asked that very fundamental question. Is it not too late? Because his position in 2022, 3 years ago, if they had listened to him, probably the party wouldn't be where it is today. And you also notice that 3 positions he canvassed, that the party said, no, it cannot happen, you were wrong. The party accepted those 3 positions. 1, on the issue of zoning that he canvassed 3 years ago. 2, the issue of national secretary of the party, Samayahu, that he kept saying that you cannot do anything outside what the constitution of the party says. National secretary is Samayahu, you cannot remove him except he resign, which he did not. The party later, after going back, forth, front, back, and all that, after a lot of damages have been done, the party came back to say, okay, we agree with you. Thirdly, Wike said, you cannot take away the position of the deputy national chairman not as he was, Umar Damagu. Because the constitution of the party says that when the chairman from a zone resigns or he dies or whatever, the deputy national chairman from that zone takes over in active capacity. And the constitution of the party also says that you can, it also stipulated where national officers of the party emerge from, national convention. And what we was saying is that if you want a new, somebody to play IU who resigned as national chairman, you cannot say you are holding meeting of the zone of the north central and you are bringing somebody. It has to be through national convention. That position now has been accepted by the party. 3 positions it canvassed that the party said it was wrong has been accepted. And that's why we said this man has always been right. 3 times now on 3 issues, he has been right. And he has also asked a fundamental question. Is it not now too late? That is the issue.
Big question, which we will come to shortly. But let me take your first stance, Mr. Dimeji Fabi, on the stance of the PDP to zone its presidential ticket to the southern region of Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. As a member of the PDP, who has been in the party for quite a long time, who truly understood the trajectory of PDP, I think what PDP did on this southern zoning thing was a grave error, and it was a deliberate mischief, you know. And I say this with some sense of responsibility because I understand the trajectory of this party very well. And in the next weeks, month, we'll see what play out as a result of this decision. It was one decision that is going to, if not totally, bury the party. It will really destabilize that party.
To bury the party?
Yes. And
why do you think so?
And I have my reason for saying that. You just, in your opening remark, in your first question to my brother, you had a very fantastic, you asked a very, very solid question. When you have someone whose stature, whose position, whose action is like, I'm in charge of this party, come out in public and said, I am not going to work for whoever emerges as your president. I'm going to support a presidential candidate from another party. That speaks a lot. It speaks about the character, the integrity, the intention of who we call our political leaders. So I am a PDP member, and I'm not in support of all that shenanigans they did. It was just like a child's play. Who are zoning help? This is the question. Let me tell you something, yeah? In the history of PDP, we knew how zoning arrangement has always been managed. Zoning has never been a problem of the PDP. It has never been. Except now that we have these few individuals, these few leaders, who believe because they want to satisfy their selfish interest, made zoning agitation an issue. As far as I know, in that PDP, zoning has never been, and I can justify this for you. In 2003, when Obasanjo was about to be re-elected, okay, it was thrown open for everybody. You see the like of Remy, everybody ran. The party has a way of achieving its aim without necessarily looking like shutting anybody out. Tomorrow, somebody from the northern Nigeria can come out and say, I'm not going to challenge this because it's their right. Everybody has constitutional rights in this country. People have democratic rights to be vote and voted for. So as far as I'm concerned, is a joke taken too far.
Dimeji, interestingly, while this is not stated in our constitution, and you are very correct to say that this is something that is stated within the constitution of the People's Democratic Party, this issue of zoning, that it would seem that to maintain and to foster national unity, given the strength that pertains to each area of the country, it was only fair and maybe right that each area produces a candidate for a particular area. So while it was not spoken in general in our constitution, it does appear that other political parties have taken a cue from the PDP and they now implement this zoning as, even though it is not particularly stated within the constitution of their own political parties. Some people think that that is how you manage diversity in a country as big, as diverse as ours, but not as equally distributed when it comes to demography as we currently are. Are you jettisoning, are you poo-pooing the idea of zoning altogether?
Well, let me tell you my position. If you remember, I was with you on this program years back. And my position has been that I am not a fan of zoning. I'm a fan of experience, competence, and capacity. It's like asking me to choose between power shift and stability. I'll go for stability. Because in all of this, you can still do what you want to achieve. So as far as I'm concerned, zoning is not an issue for me. I want somebody who can actually run a country, run a government, that people will feel the impact of that government. Today, we don't talk about governance anymore because of this election, 2020, and all that. I am not for that. What does zoning mean to a market woman or somebody who wakes up in the morning who doesn't have food to feed, money to feed his family? What does zoning mean to him? See, in this country, Mark, where we've seen people, Mr. President Obasanjo was in this country, and Southerners were saying they didn't feel the impact of his government. Jonathan was in this government. We have people from even Bayelsa that didn't feel the impact of his government. We have Buhari in this government. Some Northerners, as they say, as bad as they say it was, some people didn't feel it. Who are zoning helped? So as far as I'm concerned, zoning is not an issue. People that are making zoning, they're not doing it because of this country.
Yeah, but
they're doing it because of the... See, it's good. It's normal to say, okay, okay, so that everybody can have a sense of what is happening. But
belonging.
It still does not mean that we should get this in somebody who can actually do the
job. Well, what we have been told, and this is, you know, interestingly, Nigeria, while we might not have zoning, it's the kind of thing we have now enshrined in federal character. We say that there is no part of this country that, you know, you cannot find good people. There is no part of this country that you'll not be able to find competence. Are we saying then that if we look to the north, we will not be able to find competent characters? Are we saying if we look to the south, then we will not be able to find people who will be able to run this country effectively?
Mokwe, let us leave geographical zoning. We can zone to performance. We can zone to competence. We can zone to credibility. Somebody who has credibility to lead the government genuinely. We cannot continue to stay in one place. We cannot continue to zone to something that has not helped us. This is my take. Okay. We have to look elsewhere. Let's zone. Geographical zoning has not really helped us. It has held us down in this country. It has inhibited our progress and development as a nation in this country. We cannot continue to do that. We have to do something different. That is my own take about it. People may not agree with me. That's my view.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you're certainly allowed to express your views. I'm a little curious, though. You have been a very staunch supporter of Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who has run as the presidential candidate of the PDP. He ran in 2019, and he contested again in 2023. He's now defected. He's left the People's Democratic Party to the ADC, and you're still a member of the PDP.
I am a member of the PDP.
You're not defecting to the ADC?
I don't know. I'm still in PDP as today.
As of today. Do you think that this will affect your own support for whoever emerges on the platform of the PDP?
He's not going to support anything. I want somebody who can lead this country, who can take us out of this quagmire. I was speaking to one of your colleagues, and he said, Ola, don't you think, that was yesterday, that there's this growing public sentiment about zoning. I said, look, there's nothing like that. The only growing sentiment we have in this country is the bad economy. The only growing sentiment we have is poverty, is hunger. That is not zoning. South zoning is not the growing sentiment. People are hungry. We are not talking about that. People are concerned. The growing sentiment is INEC. People's fear that INEC may not do job, may not allow people's vote to count. These are the growing sentiment is about National Assembly that has become moribund and rubber stamp. The growing sentiment is about the judiciary, that people are so scared that you cannot get justice anymore. These are the growing sentiment, not about zoning.
All right, let me come to Mr. Leary. You asked a very pertinent question, and that question, you know, already answers many. Even though it's a question, it does appear that it's given an answer, because you say that also embedded in that statement is a question that says, is it not too late? The question is, late for who? Is it late for the political party? Is it late for the ambition of some people? Is it late for your principal, for instance, to support whoever it is that is emerging on the platform of the People's Democratic Party? This is how I'm expanding that particular question.
Let me first of all say that you cannot, on one hand, say you are looking for competent people. You cannot, on one hand, say you are looking for a Nigeria of our dream. You cannot, on one hand, say, oh, we want this country to be good, to be nice, to be fine. And on the other, I will now say that, oh, because you are looking for the best person, then you must choose a president of Nigeria from Sokoto State, and choose the vice president from Kebbi State, and choose the Senate and make the Senate president should come from Maiduguri, and the secretary to the federal government should come from Kaduna State. No, it doesn't work out that way. And you also said it clearly. The reason those who enshrined those who made federal character part of Nigeria, they were not stupid. They knew what they were doing. They knew that in every part of this country there are competent people. And what Wike said in 2022 was that since the candidate of the party, PDP, had emerged from the north, the chairman of the party should move to the south. And what has happened now? Wike did not say that, okay, zone the president to one zone, south or north. But the moment the presidential candidate emerged from the north, he said, move the chairman of the party, because you cannot have the chairman of the party and the candidate of the party from the north or from the south. But some people said, including the candidate of the party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, said, oh, he cannot do anything about that. He cannot, whatever. At the end of the day, we lost election. An election that PDP had a very good chance of winning. We lost. Now, some people will still come and say, oh, because somebody did this and that, they talk about integrity and all that. And the question is this. What kind of integrity would someone who has moved from one party to second party to third party to fifth party to sixth party to seventh party within this space of our democratic experience, what manner of integrity would that person come and preach to us? What manner of integrity would somebody who was vice president of Nigeria under PDP, I was still a better vice president of Nigeria under a PDP ticket. He did not resign. And he contested presidential election as candidate of Action Congress. Because the first thing you must do if you have integrity is, as vice president of Nigeria, holding the mandate of PDP, was for the person to have resigned.
I don't think Mr. Dimeji.
No, I'm coming.
He's not here representing the vice president.
I'm not saying he represented the vice president.
Yeah.
Because he talked about integrity. I was just expanding.
I think it's just important to state that. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about issue of Wike saying it is too late. The issue is that it is too late already. He's here now talking about we should not zone. And if you look at it from some aspect too, I'll tell you that I can say that he's right. Because what will zoning give you now, or give me, or give PDP, let us put it that way. Now that we have zoned now, what will the zoning give PDP? The zoning is to the south. You already have a president, a city president from the south. He will contest after his first tenure of 4 years in 2027. Now, if you are going by the issue of we want equity, will the people from the north be comfortable with a new president, somebody from the south, a new person, that will be coming to say he's spending 8 years?
They're big questions, and they're very valid questions. And I think that's why it does appear that we have been hearing the name of former President Goodluck Jonathan a lot in recent times. But I do know that Ayo, has questions for gentlemen. Ayo.
Well, thank you, Maokwe. Let me begin with you, Mr. Oladimeji. There are many questions around this whole zoning thing, and I don't think it is reversible. I don't think the PDP can reverse itself in this matter with the confirmation of the national chairman of the party to one region of the country. It's the consequence upon that, which the presidential slot has now been zoned to the south. Question is, do you think it is a fair position for the party to take, or do you think it is exclusionary?
Well, thank you very much. My brother, before I come to that, let me quickly say something about what my brother said here about integrity and Atiku Abubakar. I know Mr. Aliri, a gentleman that I respect so much, is always quick to attack Atiku whenever the matter starts. And this same Atiku supported you during your House of Reps election, which I understand. Going out in and out of a party is not new. We've seen people move, not only Atiku that has moved, and that one does not call to anybody's integrity. What matters is what you want to offer, what you want to do for the people. So I'll leave that to that. Now for the PDP zoning, whether it is reversible or it's not reversible, we'll see the consequence in the next couple of months, weeks, and years to come. For me, I've always said it, you know, the moment a party takes decision based on a particular individual interest, that party is set for doom. And that is exactly what the PDP has done. So, and I'm not a prophet of doom. I'm a member of the party who is entitled to my opinion, who will tell them as it is because they're all afraid. A lot of people of them are afraid to tell them the truth. So as far as I know, they have taken the decision. We'll wait and see what comes after.
So when you say
the consequences
the position of the party is for one particular individual, who do you think this is?
What I'm saying is this. When a party takes a decision just to satisfy the interests and wishes of an individual.
Which individual?
We all know. That party is set for a doom. Well, I don't need to repeat it. I don't need to mention him. Nigerians know. No, wait, just wait. Nigerians knows. So leave that one. Whether my statement was right or not right, it will be seen in the next couple of days.
But you don't also agree, just a second on that matter. You don't also think that there were those who believed that the position or the decision of the PDP to throw open the presidential ticket in the last general elections was in the interest of one particular individual?
Well, I don't know. You just justify that for me because there was a committee. A committee was set up to do that. This committee was led by Minister of FCT associate, close friend. And this committee came up with their resolution. And the party adopted it. When people talk like this, it smarts up a lot of things for me.
So you don't think that even this position as well, this position of the party is also the resolution of a committee, of the resolution of the national body? You don't think it's a resolution as it was in 2023?
That's why I said, we agree with you. That's why I said the consequences of every decision, it will always come now. So if the decision in 2023 has led to where we are as a party, then this decision too, we'll see where it will lead us. I'm very clear about what I said, and I stand by it. Okay. I stand by it.
Mr. Lainka, when you say it is too late, your principal is still a member of the PDP. And it's obvious to the blind where his allegiance is to as far as the coming elections is concerned. So what do you see happening?
Well, like I said, when I said it is too late, already too late. It should be clear. It should be clear to the physically impaired.
Well, what is too late? You say that is it the zoning that is too late?
I mentioned something there. It is too late because one, we had a very good chance of doing doing the right thing 3 years ago that we did not do. For instance, if we had accepted, if we had agreed with him that, oh, we have the presidential candidate.
Mr. Lainka, I apologize. I still want to know what is too late.
That is where I'm going. That is where I'm going. If the party had agreed, probably the party won't be where it is today. So it is not too late. The head is off already. We are crying. What we should have done 3 years ago, we did not do. We are now doing now. That is for the first thing that is too late. The second thing that is too late is that now you have said, okay, what you should have done 3 years ago, you are now doing now. The president should now come from the south. Fine, you want to have the candidate from the south. But the issue is that another party that is in power has its own candidate too. We have his own candidate too from the south, the same south. And that candidate will have spent 4 years in office, and we have 4 years more to spend. Now you present that candidate to the other zone. Let me say the other zone, the north. The north that is also probably feeling that, okay, in the next 4 years, the president should come to us. Would that not agree with you to go with your own candidate that will be starting afresh, that will probably want to go for a second term if he wins in 2031, or a candidate that only have 4 years to spend. That is what I'm saying.
I'm trying to really understand what you're saying, because from 1999 till today, it would seem like the zoning arrangement has always been a gentleman's agreement, which the PDP, your party, kind of truncated in 2011. In 1999, there were southern candidates across all party lines. In 2007, there were northern candidates across all party lines. Your party broke that arrangement in 2015. And that would be like where the whole problem of the PDP has begun from. So if the gentleman's agreement has always been a problem and the party is trying to correct itself now, how is that a bad thing?
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I've not said it's a bad thing. You can do the right thing at the wrong time. You can do what is right. What I'm saying is that this time that we have done it, in 2022-23, there was no zoning. And the arrangement was that, if the presidential candidate emerged from the north, the chairman will move to the south. That was what should have happened. The disagreement, the issue then was for the chairman to move to the south. The candidate already emerged. The candidate already emerged. So, but because the party refused to move the chairman to the north, that was what caused this crisis. Now, the same thing, we have now come to say, okay, we are putting it on paper. The president should come from the south. The chairman should remain from the north. But what we are saying is that it is already too late. It is too late. You are doing the right thing at the wrong time. Well, and again, the same minister that said those things has also put 2 other things forward. And I said it on somewhere yesterday. He has put 2 other things forward. And I hope that by the time the party will also come to agree with him on those 2 other things, it will not be too late again.
Well, we certainly will be looking forward. You want to quickly say something?
Yes,
in 30 seconds.
Yes, thank you very much. See, as long as we refuse to tell ourselves the truth in this country, we'll continue to run into this problem. You know, they like saying this. Let me tell you, I listened to Senator Abamoro yesterday, and I was taken aback what he said, that Atiku or somebody else it was a mistake giving Atiku the ticket. Senator Abamoro forgot, or refused, or they refused to mention the role he played and the G5, G27, G100 in sabotaging the party. These are the saboteurs. They are the biggest mistake the party made. So, for me, when I see leaders that I should know better coming on air and be saying that, making those fallacious innuendos, it sparks something out of me. And as far as I know, let me tell you, this zoning issue will not finish talking about it here. We will see what
I think that
the
issue of zoning by itself, even without political parties taking a, certainly it's political parties that will, talk about it eventually. But I think the issue of zoning by itself deserves a national discussion.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, we have to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. We continue to wait to see what eventually the PDP will decide at its national convention that comes up in November this year. Thank you so much for coming on our program this morning. Mr. Larry Olayinka, a senior special assistant to the FCT Minister on Public Communications. And we also had Mr. Oladimeji Fabi, who's a stakeholder in the People's Democratic Party. Gentlemen, thank you once more. The issue of zoning deserves a conversation all by itself. We've seen it appear at different times of our national life, particularly in 2011 when President Goodluck Jonathan was going to run, completing the tenure, just after completing the tenure of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. There are those from a part of this country, especially the northern section of the country, who felt that it wasn't his turn. And then when he decided to continue in 2015, there was big controversy. And some people would say that led largely to the loss, amongst other things, of the People's Democratic Party. And now we see it rear its head over and over again. And it doesn't seem to have been put to rest. We even hear the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, Mr. Peter Obi, say he'll only run one term. Some people say that is because of the acknowledgement of this unspoken arrangement between the North and the South, that the presidency will be in one area for 8 years and in another area for another 8 years. So how big is this issue? And should we, at once, for once and all, decide to put it in our constitution and let there be no controversy as to what exactly is happening? Well, joining us right now to discuss this issue is Professor Udenta, who is the founding National Secretary, Alliance for Democracy. Prof, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Bobo. At least the last time you were in Lagos, hibernating. I'm happy you are back to us in Abuja here.
I've been back a long time.
I know, because I have not been here for long.
I have been back a long time.
Sure.
But, this issue of zoning, by now, shouldn't the people in the ivory towers be helping us out with this particular issue? Because it does look like politicians are making a mess of it.
We get there in terms of, reconstructing the Constitution or retooling it. The text of the Constitution by, those who have the mandate to do so, maybe with input from those from the ivory tower, the scholars, the intellectuals, the opinion holders, to help them get there. We've gotten so many things right in terms of inclusion or inclusivity. That is what is a basic civic foundation of democratic governance in a plural society like ours. When it comes to zoning, actually zoning is a method of restraint. It's a moral restraint. It's not a constitutional matter for now. But the idea is that I have the power and the number to take it all. But I should be morally restrained in terms of that kind of sense of forbearance, that the rest of the country or different parchments of the geographies of a country may not have that demographic ability to take it too. But then if you do zoning, include everybody in the mix. But zoning doesn't repress efficiency or, or effectiveness or experience or depth. Take my village, for example. It's a very small village in Enugu State. We have close to 30 professors in the village. More than maybe 50, 70 doctorate holders, engineers. So we can actually form a cabinet, one village. So anybody who tells you that zoning restricts ability to get the best in the country, it's not true. Everywhere in the country, you have people who are competent and qualified. What matters is when the party deploys the instrument of zoning, like PDP has done now, they must search for the best in order to actualize the potentials of a nation. Yeah. My practical comment on this is this. I'm not a member of any of the parties, including PDP, Labour, ADC, APC, etc. But I'm very close. The number of the key players. One of my very good friends in politics today is the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed. And let me deposit it here, and the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. He called me one day, we had a conversation. He said, Udenta. I said, yes, and he said, I can go for the presidency in 2027. I'm immediately qualified. I tried 2023. I didn't get there. This time I may get there, or at least come near enough there. Who knows? But I'm not going to do it because it is the turn of the South. It's a sacrifice we have to make, those of us in the North, in the party, in order to have the South, produce the presidency. So if that happens, the implication is that I will sacrifice my own ambition, which I can realize, for the greater good, not only of the party, but of the country. If in 2023 we had a certain guy, the president of the country today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a president. And then in 2027, the idea is we should have a certain president, but not him. That's my take. It should be some other person may do better than him. Therefore, let us lead the party, that we are rebuilding, reconstructing out of the chaos of this, and disaster and disorder, with a lot of quistlings, destroying it. Let us rebuild this party and position it to allow a Southern in 2027 to take this slot in 2031. They've guided the party to that. They've had a neck meeting. They pronounced that the power has shifted to the South. That's an important contribution to our national democratic journey.
But there is a very big question, which is now, is it not too late? Because now we're beginning to see will-be presidential candidates or aspirants are saying, oh, you heard Mr. Peter Obi, I'll only do one term. Perhaps in silent recognition of that unspoken arrangement.
Absolutely.
And then you are now saying the PDP, there have been talks about whether or not President Goodluck Jonathan should come back, because that is one person everyone knows is constitutionally barred to do more than one term should he decide to run again. Okay. And so there are questions as to whether this is too late for the PDP to be decided.
No, it's not too late. Next, on this show and many other shows, I announced publicly, and I want to be disputed, that Mr. President and his team panicked. That's why they jumped the gun in terms of the transition to 2027. Presidential primaries will be held almost a year from now. From June, July next year, maybe nudging to August next year. That is one solid year. PDP is holding a convention mid-November. From that mid-November to the end of the year, the party should put its house fully in order. Rebuild itself, a new NWC, and the party is going to be ready for the next 6 months to begin that search for who's going to be its candidate. The primary election is not tomorrow. It is not 2 months' time. It is almost 10, 11 months' time.
So
the party
it's not so late.
It's not at all.
Let me quickly get Ayo to come in here. Ayo, a quick question for me.
Well, very quick question, Malcolm. Thank you. So, Prof, how much do you think a presidential campaign, presidential candidate or a president can achieve in 4 years? If you say that, you know, at a time when we want expedited development without continuity?
Okay, now the question is actually an intriguing one. It speaks to maybe a sense of, disconnect between one government and the other, and one regime and the other. In a sense of continuity, it doesn't matter whether you spend 4 years or 8 years, or even 12 years. The idea is that if you have solid programs that impact one on the life of the people, the next president, irrespective of party, should actually take it from where you stopped. You know, the good program on poverty alleviation. I don't know why a new president will come and say, oh, he's because from my party, I don't love the policy on poverty alleviation. 4 years is enough for you to start something solid, to build a momentum. If it is possible to destroy in 2 years, it is equally good to build in 2. In essence, as we say in our place, it is eye you take to see a corn that has ripened. You don't need to touch it. 6 months is enough for people to feel part of a government. 1 year is solid enough to do that. Understanding that if the party the president represents wins the next election, he'll continue, whoever is the president, continues from where the last president stopped. Even if another party takes power, I'm sure that what Buhari tried to do was not to dismantle the entirety of Jonathan presidency in terms of program and policies. He would not have done very well. I'm not sure what the current president is doing is dismantling everything the last president did. There's a certain level of continuity. He even said it during the campaign. Are we continuing from where Buhari stopped? Maybe in a better format. I don't know whether it is better. In essence, 4 years is good enough for a president to announce an arrival that is going to be impactful on the life of a generation.
Well, Prof, we're out of time.
I know.
Sadly. We will certainly bring you back, and we'll certainly give you more time when we do so. We have to thank you for coming.
No problem.
I'll
always be here.
Professor Odenta is the founding National Secretary, Alliance for Democracy. And so we come to the end of today's program of Wednesday's edition of Sunrise Daily. We hope you have a very productive day. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.